Hello and welcome to Healing Yoga today. Want to say hello? That would be nice. I'm glad you're here. It was so sunny just not that long ago, and now it's kind of clouding over, so I popped the light on. I think you'll still be able to see okay. Hello, Ron. Hello, Mara. Glad you are here. Check our time. Hi. Glad you're all here to join us today. We'll go ahead and get started. And if others come, they can just join us at wherever we're at. So I think today, it's always nice, to have a block, a strap, and a blanket on hand, because you just never know when that might be able to support you in your practice. But if not, that's okay. You can begin on your mat or you can begin in a chair, either way. And as usual during class, I'll offer variations so you can meet your body where it's at today. Let's get started. You can see I have my things already here. Sometimes at the beginning of class, it's kind of nice to, especially when it's cold, to have a towel or a blanket or something just to put my feet on, and even do this sometimes. And it can make me feel warmer. It can be a nice grounding practice. You do what's right for you. So I'm so glad you're here. Please remember that if at any time during the practice something hurts or is painful or pulls or strains, to just back off from that. Because you're here to take care of your body and to honor it. And there's no pain in yoga. There should never be any pain in yoga. So let's keep that in mind today, and we'll go ahead and get started. So I invite you to find a comfortable seat, whether that's in a chair or on the mat, you choose. Feel your sit bones connecting with the surface below you. Shoulders are relaxed, down and back. A long spine is always good. Maybe bring your chin down a bit to allow for some expansion amongst those vertebrae in the back of the neck. Let's just have time to center for a moment. Noticing your breath, not changing it, just noticing it. Just knowing that you're here. There's nowhere else to be, nowhere else you need to go, nothing else to do. This is your time for your practice. Let's continue with a body scan, beginning with the toes, the feet, the ankles. Move them a bit. Just notice how everything is feeling there. And continue up the legs, lower leg, the knee, the upper leg. Checking in with your torso, the mid-seam, your side seams. And your hands, maybe they're palms down for grounding. Maybe you want to have palms up for receiving. How are the arms feeling? Any place you notice any tension, any strain? Moving up the arms to the shoulders. the neck, the jaw. And just taking this time to bring the body to center, to calm the mind. I came across a beautiful reading this morning that I want to share with you as you sit and center. Care for the body you have today, not the one you had yesterday, last month, last year, or a decade ago. Not the one you hope to have or will have tomorrow or the next day. Those bodies don't exist. Care for the body you have today. Caring for our body, honoring it, loving it. Body is the home for your beautiful spirit. Let's take a nice deep breath and exhale. You can soften your gaze or keep the eyes closed. We'll bring together the fingertips and thumb tips of each hand to form the Hakini Mudra. So it's as if you have your fingers and thumbs splayed and holding a small globe. And you can just rest that around your midsection or in your lap. The Hakini Mudra represents wholeness and integration of all parts of your being and balance. So by honoring our wholeness, that we are already whole, bringing all parts of our being together, and being in a state of balance. It's a beautiful one to practice anytime you need to remind yourself of that. I care for the body I have today. I honor the body I have today. So let's inhale. I care for the body. And exhale. I have today. Inhale. I honor the body I have today. Go ahead and practice that mantra and that breath another time. I care for the body I have today. I honor the body I have today. And you can go ahead and open your eyes. Let's inhale, take hands to sky. Exhale toward the earth. Let's do that a couple of more times. Breathing in and out. It's nice to let it out through the mouth sometimes. Breathing in. It's a nice release. Beautiful. Let's begin by warming up our beautiful body and honoring it by preparing it for practice. I'm going to go ahead and move my blankets and towel out of the way. Not too far. I'll want those again for shavasana. Let's go ahead, and you may be sitting on the mat or on a chair. Either way, these warm-ups are accessible to you, whichever way you choose to sit. So I'd invite you to just kind of extend each leg, but keep a bent knee, just enough that you can rotate the ankles. And the same time you're rotating the ankles, rotate your wrists, nice and slow. Now notice what direction you're going. Pause and go the other direction. You don't have to match. We're just rotating the wrists and ankles to get some movement and fluid moving in there. And then bring the toes and fingers, squeezing and then releasing and splaying. Spreading the toes and fingers apart the best you can. Let's do that a couple more times. Do it with the breath, breathing in and out. One more time. Lovely. Then come up to, you can either sit back or if you're on your mat to do this, or just at the edge of your chair. We're going to come up on our tiptoes on the inhale so that we can feel a stretch across the top of the foot. Exhale, lower. Next, inhale, bring the toes toward the shin. And exhale. Breathing in. So if your legs are outstretched on the mat, you're pointing. Breathe out. Breathe in. And you're flexing. The toes are lifted. So let's just do that one more time. Especially wonderful to stretch the top of that foot. But good to move all parts of it. Lovely. Just take a moment and you can bend each knee if you're on the mat. Let's just give our knees just a really nice, just not so much as massage, but just kind of rubbing our hands, our palms going one direction and pausing going the other direction. Just to bring some warmth to that joint. Then we'll go ahead and warm up that knee joint. So you can hold your leg up a bit if you would like, whether you're on the mat or the chair. Or if that's a strain in your lower back, you can simply slide your foot. And that works too. Keeping a nice long spine. Let's go to the other side. Do the same thing. Warming up the knee joint. And then to warm up the hip joint, we'll just do a little chair walking or mat walking with our bum. And back up a bit and then come forward. And just kind of exaggerate that movement in the hip. This is a nice, gentle, kind of fun way to warm up the hip. And then come back to center. We'll pause there. Bringing the heels of our hands into our hip creases. If you're on your mat, you can simply be sitting cross-legged and do the same thing. We'll be practicing cat and cow. So as we breathe in, we lift the heart, but not throwing the neck or the head back. Just maybe bringing the gaze to the seam between the wall and the ceiling. And then exhale, taking the hands out to the knees. You can just lean back or you can round, whichever is best for your spine. Breathing in, lifting the heart, and exhale. So if you have some concerns with the spine and the bones, then you would be best to just simply lean back. Let's do one more. And you can move at these nice and slowly. I think we'll actually do a couple more. You can go at your own pace, but do it at a pace where you really feel each movement. Warming up the spine. Then coming back to center, and we'll stir the pot, getting the shoulders involved. And moving around, getting that spine to go different ways, and pausing and going the other direction. Maybe tucking in that waistband a bit to support the spine. Let's go ahead and shrug our shoulders all the way up to our ears. And then release them down and imagine someone pressing down on the tops of your shoulders. in, bring them up. Inhale and exhale. But there's work in this part too. Let's do that one more time. And then just do some nice slow rotation of the shoulder forward and then backward. Slowly and gently. Bring the hands before your heart. And we'll shift our arms one direction or gaze the opposite direction. And whatever direction our gaze is, you have the option of lifting that leg. So we'll inhale and go to one side. Exhale to center. Inhale the other side. Exhale to center. I could tell my leg was wanting to go up. So it's not about how high we lift the leg. Just lift it like an inch. So breathing in, just barely off the floor. And exhale. But you still feel it working. Other side. Let's do that one more time. So a lot of things coming into play here with this warm-up. Relax. Bring your arms down. Okay. Let's go ahead and take whichever side you want to begin with. Reach your ear toward your shoulder. Might not be very far. I seem to have a lot of tension in here today, so it's not really going too far. And I'm not forcing it. Never force anything. You just allow it to be what it is. And then turn your gaze down toward your shoulder. Notice how that feels differently. Then you can take your hand and gently press on the back of your head just a tad, if you would like a deeper stretch. Again, not forcing anything. Now let's draw that chin across the collarbone, drawing a smile. Now we're looking down toward the opposite shoulder. Notice what we feel and where. Maybe take your hand, deepen that stretch a bit if that works for you. I'm not feeling it so much on this side. So I'm going to be right where I'm at. Then turn, bring your gaze forward. So your ear, look at me, I was collapsing down there. Let's keep a tall spine. Gaze forward and up. Now we'll do that on the other side. We'll begin this side this time. Always remembering to keep that long spine. We just always have a tendency to collapse in. I do too. And I caught myself there. And then taking the gaze down. Drawing the smile across. Looking down on the other side. Taking the gaze forward. And back up to center. Now let's do the jaw. Open the jaw as far as you can. And relax and close. Do that a couple more times. Sometimes we forget about the jaw, but we can hold a lot of tension there. One more time. And then we'll move the lower jaw from side to side slowly, though. Again. Leveling back to center. It's so important to take time to warm up the body before practice and to honor all of the joints and muscles in our body. They need that time to do that. And also another thing to keep in mind that sometimes as the weather gets colder, we do tend to tense up a bit more. So these warm-ups that we do especially with the head and the neck and the shoulders. You can do those at any time to honor and care for your body. Just be gentle, never force. Let's find Shavasana, or mountain posture. So if you are on the floor, I'd ask you to make your way to standing. If you're in a chair, you can be right where you're at with your 90-degree angles in the hips, knees, and ankles. Pressing the feet into the earth. Lift all 10 toes. Pressing down under the big toe mound, the little toe mound, and the heel. Feeling the legs engage. In that core, use that to support your back. Shoulders relax down and back. Hands at sides. Lower the chin a bit. Find your drishti, your focal point. Take a couple of breaths here. You can relax your toes down if you would like, but keep that engagement in the legs. Now we'll take a nice inhale, bring the hands to sky. Exhale, just a half fold. So we're not going to take our head below the heart. Inhale, to sky. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, hands to sky. Exhale, bring your palms across the sacrum, right underneath your waistband, and lift the heart a bit. Bring the shoulders, blades back. This bit of a cobra, standing or seated cobra. And bring the arms back to sky and to the heart. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, just keep same hand on same knee and just do a bit of a twist. Your hips can follow. And back to center, arms to sky, and twisting on the other side. And hands to heart. We'll go through that 2 more times. This time I'll demonstrate standing. You can continue to practice seated or you can stand. Inhale. Exhale, half fold. Keep a slight bend in your knee. Inhale. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale. Exhale, cobra. And I'll show you a little bit what that looks like here. Right there. And then I'm going to bring my shoulder blades back and lift my heart, but not throwing the neck back. My goal is not to look at the ceiling. And exhale. Inhale, hands to sky, hands to heart. Inhale. Exhale, just a bit of a twist. Just bring your both hands together at the waistband. Inhale, hands to sky. Exhale, bit of a standing twist on the other side. We'll go through this 1 more time. Hands to heart. You decide whether you want to practice seated or standing. Okay. Breathe in, hands up. Exhale, half fold. Inhale to the sky. Exhale to the heart. Breathing in. Arms to sky. Exhale, cobra. Inhale. Exhale, hands to heart. Breathe in. Exhale, gentle twist. Breathing in. Exhale, gentle twist to the other side. Breathing in, hands to sky. And exhale, hands to heart. So that's just a short sun salutation to get our body working and moving and breathing. Now what's often a part of a sun salutation is a lunge, and I'd like to share with you 3 lunges are awesome. They are really good. But they can also sometimes be painful, or difficult because they offer a balance challenge. So I'm going to share with you 3 different ways to practice a lunge. So if a lunge is already in your practice, you can follow along and do what you know. So to practice a lunge in a chair, you want to scoot towards the front of your chair and then just scoot to the side just enough so this leg can step back. So your knee probably still has a bend to it, and your back foot is up on its toes. This leg is pressing into the earth. So you almost feel like your bum is coming up off the chair. You can have this hand right here for support. So we'll hold this lunge for a couple of breaths. You can play around with that back leg. And then relax, step that back leg forward. Find your center, Tadasana if you're standing. And then we'll go to the other side and step the opposite leg back. If you're on a chair, you want to find a way that is safe for you. Might have to work around some furniture. So this front leg, it is pressing into the earth. It's engaged. This back leg is stepping back up on the toes. You can have one hand here for support. Always safety first. Let's take a couple of breaths here. Step that back foot forward. I'll share with you with the chair. You actually have a couple of options. So I'm going to share with you put my hands on the chair. So I'm going to come down here, and then I'll step back with one leg. Front knee is bent, back leg is outstretched, heel is up off the floor. Now your gaze, you want to keep that nice neutral spine here, so I'm not trying to look at the wall or anywhere. I'm not dropping my head. I'm keeping that spine aligned. A couple breaths here. Then when we're ready, I just kind of rock back and step the back leg forward. Come into a bit of a half fold, and then step the opposite leg back. Minding that that front knee bent at a 90-degree angle. Back of the opposite leg is extended backward with the heel up off the floor. I do this every night before I go to bed, and I just use the side of my bed to support as I do it. And we'll go ahead and step that back foot forward. Come to standing if you're not already, and find your mountain. Now another option is you can do this just standing, like maybe in your kitchen. But if you're not sure about balance, it's nice to have a little something nearby. Even resting 1 or 2 fingers on the surface can help. So if I wanted to practice that, maybe I'm in my kitchen, I have my kitchen counter here, and I'm going to step back, and I can hold on to that counter while I get set up. Front knee is bent, back leg is outstretched, and I can have my hand on that counter. I can have 1 finger on that counter, and then I can experience the sensation of a lunge this way and safely step that back foot forward. Let's go to the other side. A lunge is so good for our body, and it's nice to know some options to practice it safely. And we'll come back, bring that back leg forward, and find your mountain posture. So next I want to explore with you some ways to practice downward facing dog. And yes, you absolutely can practice it in a chair. So let me share with you what that looks like. For some people, it's not appropriate for them to have their head below their heart. They have heart issues or high blood pressure. So please keep that in mind. They can still practice this safely. So I'm going to extend my feet out. It's like there's a wall in front of me. And I'm going to have my feet the same distance apart they would be if I was on the mat. Probably about, hip distance. Unless you like to do a wider leg downward facing dog. And that works too. Then I'm going to bring my hands out. And they're going to be extended up a bit. Because that's how it is on the mat. And then I might lean forward just a little bit. Then I'm going to engage all the muscles in my arms and legs and hands and feet, keeping my spine aligned, and I'm pressing outward. I am working here, absolutely. If you have someone who will stand and let you press into their hands, that's awesome too. Now let's just relax, come back. So that's downward dog when you're sitting. That can feel really good to do. And maybe you're at a place that you're not just going to drop to the floor and fall into downward facing dog, but that can feel really, really good to just get all those muscles engaged and warm. Another option is that you can do it with the chair, and you can do it with the seat of the chair, again, too. So I bring my hands down. I like to turn my palms kind of outward at an angle. It's a little easier on the shoulders. I'm going to step back. Okay. And I'm going to press into my arms as I come back. And you can experiment and explore to see where you want your feet. But we aren't pressing into the feet yet. We're going to start by pressing into our arms, getting a nice long spine, and then press into our feet. Then we're ready. We kind of come forward to a bit of a plank. Woohoo! And step forward and up. You can also practice this using a wall. My wall has big piece of art on it right now, so I'm not going to put my hands up there, but you can absolutely do that. So you would just be pressing into the wall and pretend I have an imaginary wall here and coming down like this. And again, exploring. What you want to look at is that extension through the spine. Now, practicing it on your mat, you would come to the front of your mat, bend your knees, fold forward, and you can continue to practice it in the chair or with the chair. You do not need to practice it on your mat right now, but if you would like to, here's a variation for you. And you can bring your hands out, bring them nice and wide, walk your feet back, kind of get situated here. Then the first thing you're going to do, you can keep your heels off the floor, press back. Sometimes people think, oh, I got to get my heels to the floor. No, you don't. So you just press back, keeping that head, neck, and spine in alignment, and press back and feel that expansion and extension of that spine. And breathe. You're not dropping the head, you just need to keep it in alignment. Then when you're ready, you can walk your hands and feet close to each other, bend the knees, and help yourself up. And there you go. So that's, they call that the garbage pose, because it's like taking out the garbage. But you don't have to practice it with your head upside down. You can practice it using a wall, the back of a chair, the seat of a chair, whichever feels best to you. Okay? All right, so there we go. Come back to Tadasana. We'll be moving through a flow between Virabhadrasana 2, Parsvarukasana, and reverse warrior. So I will go through it the first time. If you are familiar with warrior 2, side angle and reverse warrior, I will be giving cues, whether you're in the chair or standing. The cues are honestly quite similar. So let's just take some time to kind of move at our pace with the breath. We've done a lot of practice and work and strengthening, practice with our sun salutations, lunges, and downward facing dog. Let's get into a bit of a flow. So for warrior two, your front leg is bent at a 90-degree angle. If you're in a chair, you'll bring that out to the side. And then this leg, if you're in a chair, it can stay here. You could bring it here, or you can bring it back here. In this case, unlike the lunge where we had the heel off the floor, we want the whole foot on the floor. Same if you're standing. So if you're standing, you can step back with one leg, bend the front leg at a 90-degree angle. Your torso is going to face the long edge of your mat. Then you can, depending on your shoulders, maybe your hands are at your hips, maybe they're at W, or maybe they're out and extended. Okay? You can decide if you want palms down or palms up. That's up to you. So arms are at shoulder height. Let's look out over that front arm. This is Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. From here, we'll move into Parsvakonasana, or side angle. So it's just basically somewhat windmilling the arms, but bending this arm and bringing your forearm to the upper leg. And then this hand, the back hand can be on the hip. It can be on the shoulder, or you can bring it out in front and then over your head. Gaze can be toward the floor, forward, or wherever it feels best for your neck. We'll move. Now we'll move through that again. Come into Warrior 2. Parsvakonasana. And we'll go into reverse warrior, so we're going to come back. So this arm is going down the back leg. Again, have your neck be safe. Come back to warrior 2. Inhale. And exhale. Side angle. Inhale. And exhale. Reverse. Just go ahead and move through those at a pace that feels right to you. If one is feeling really, really good, feel free to just hold there for a few breaths. Taking it nice and slow, moving with the breath. And when you're on your reverse warrior, come back to warrior, lower the hands and take your gaze forward. Feels good to just kind of move the body like that, doesn't it? And then heel toe your feet or step them back to Tadasana. And we'll move to the other side. Move these out of the way. When I kick them over, knock over my water. So, now, next, step back with your opposite leg. Now, if you're practicing standing, you don't even need to change position. You can just simply switch your foot position. So I'm going to bring my hand here. Now, for some reason, this leg is not feeling it going back there today. So I'm just going to let it extend a bit right here. I'm going to take care of and honor my body. When I was doing that, I was getting a cramp. So my body's going, nope. So we do this instead. Bring the hands up, shoulder height, or whatever position works best for your body. And take your gaze out over the front leg. Shoulders are relaxed down and back. We sometimes have a tendency to draw them upward. So we'll inhale. And we'll exhale to side angle. The side of my body is a whole different ballgame. Inhale. And exhale to reverse warrior. I can bring my hand down to the chair if I want to, if my leg isn't back there. And back to warrior two. Inhale. Exhale to Parsvakonasana. Inhale. Exhale, reverse. Now just as we did on the first side, move through these at your pace with leg and arm positions that serve your body and honor where it's at today. Breathe out, usually breathing in on the warrior two, exhaling on the other, but you know what? It doesn't matter. You do what works for you. On your last reverse warrior, go ahead and come to warrior two. Relax the arms down. Step your back leg forward or heel toe it if you're in the chair. And we'll move to a posture of balance, stork. I'll share with you 3 options. The first option for stork in the chair is simply you have your supporting leg, so one leg is really pressing into the earth. This leg can just come off the floor an inch. If that feels a bit of a strain, lift your heel. So if you're practicing stork in the chair, you can either lift your heel or you can lift your foot off an inch. It depends on how your leg is feeling. Honor that, okay? And then you will lift the arm, whatever leg. It's not your supporting leg. Okay, let's try it. So pressing down into one leg, the other leg, come up, we bring our arm up. We breathe here, and when we're done, we're done. Or maybe I have it lifted, and then I'm like, I'm done with that, I think I'll just lift the heel. There you go. As soon as you feel a heel off the floor, it's balance. And relax down. Another option is simply to practice it with the chair as balance support. And you can have the chair, no, not really in front of you, off to the side. I'm going to root down to my supporting leg, which is next to the chair, knee slightly bent. Find my drishti or focal point. Then I'm going to peel this heel off the floor. Maybe I stay here. Maybe I lift that foot off the floor. Maybe I lift it a little higher. If you come up where your thighs parallel with the floor, that's high enough. But you find what works best for you. Engage the core. Feel root down into that supporting leg. And then when you're ready to come out, bring your foot and your arm down. Now let's do that on the other side. This time the opposite leg will be our supporting leg. And you can choose, maybe you want to see what it's like to try it without the chair. But it's there if you want it. Okay, so first of all, we're going to lift the opposite heel. We are really going to engage this leg and just root down into the earth. Find our focal point or our drishti. Then we can leave the toes on the floor and bring that arm up. Or we see what it's like to lift the foot off the floor. Keep that supporting leg's knees slightly bent. You might have a wobbly stork. You might need to touch down. You might fall out. It's all okay. It's a practice. And if you'd like, you can just rest your hand on the chair, just knowing that it's there. It's a practice. We're exploring. We want to be safe, though. And then lower that leg down. So those are some options for stork posture. Whether you're in the chair, whether you're standing with the chair or standing on your own with something nearby for safety. You could also practice it with your back against a wall, and that would give you some support too. That's a lovely way to practice balance poses. Gives you a chance to kind of get a feel for it and start building that muscle memory in your body before you take it away from the wall. So let's go ahead and just shake out our legs a little and our arms a little. We've done a lot today. It's time for shavasana. So you can decide where you would like to have shavasana. You're at home or somewhere, and so what are your options? You can lay out in your mat. You can sit in the chair that you're in. Just find a place where you can outstretch your body, stretch out your body, where you'll be warm, where you'll feel completely supported. So, for example, have a little, if you're going to be in the chair, a little place to put your feet up. Scoot to the back of your chair, whether it's a comfy recliner or whatever you might have. Again, it's kind of nice to put a blanket over the lower body for warmth. And then you can use your towel. And fold or roll that to support the neck. It's so important to support the neck. And then just find a position where you can really relax. So you might have to play around with where your feet are a little bit. I just kind of let my knees fall out too, because that feels very relaxing to me. You do what works for you. Honor and care for your body. Let's take a nice deep breath in and out. Wow. Just letting every part of your body get super soft. Knowing it is supported by the surface below you. During our practice today, practice caring for your body, honoring your body, where it's at today. Now it's time to rest. Shavasana, a time to rest, to know you're whole, to let all the things we did during practice today integrate and soak in. I'll mind the time, and we'll sound the chime when it's time for us to come out. Care for the body you have today, not the one you had yesterday, last month, last year, or a decade ago. Not the one you hope to have or will have tomorrow or the next day. Those bodies do not exist. Care for the body you have today. Go ahead and wiggle your fingers and your toes, bringing some gentle movement, maybe into the wrists and ankles. Bend one knee and then the other, bringing the soles of your feet to the earth. Go ahead and roll to one side. Take a breath. And then when you're ready, extend your top leg and press yourself up to a seated position. With a beautiful long spine. Inhale, hands to sky. Exhale to the earth. We'll do that again. And one last time, bringing the palms together. And as you exhale, slowly bring the palms down to heart center, brushing your face with your fingertips. I care for my body. I honor my body. I am whole. I am complete. May you be safe. May you be well. May you be filled with peace. Namaste. Be gentle as you slowly move on to whatever may be next, whether it's more shavasana or sitting quietly, whatever it may be. Please take care.